Hello there, my name is John Crabbe with Crabbe Homes. We are here today to do a final walkthrough. We've talked for a long time about videotaping this because a lot of our clients, as they go through the home buying process, they become very, very excited. This is a very stressful time for people and they often forget some of the things that we tell them at the final walkthrough. So we've decided to put this on the internet so that you always have access to this. The final walkthrough is the homeowner's opportunity to find anything that they're not happy with. It's an opportunity to ask questions on a home that maybe they don't understand something. We deal with all level of buyers, sometimes new home buyers to veteran home buyers to everywhere in between. So we want to familiarize our clients with their home. We also want to give them the best possible customer service. So that is what the final walkthrough is to get us in front of them, in front of you all. It also, one of the things about a final walkthrough is it's exactly what it says. It's your opportunity to say, yes, this is the house I'm purchasing. I tell a story all the time that one of the very first houses, actually my first house that I bought, we had 6 items on our final walkthrough and 3 of them got fixed. And it upset my wife for years and years because none of the items were ever verified. So one of the things that we do here at Crabbe Homes, we've taken that and said, hey, we need to verify that this stuff is done. So our process, after a few days of correcting any items, then we come back and we will meet with you again for a verification walk. And that verification walk is the opportunity. It's a very quick walkthrough. It's pointing and saying, yes, this is done and this is done. But it gives the client an opportunity, gives you all an opportunity to, again, say all items are ready to go, and then you go to closing and the house is yours. So at a final walkthrough, obviously we're here in the kitchen, but the best place to start the final walkthrough is in the garage. So let's head that way. So here we are in the garage. We have picked a house that is a fairly general house. It is not, it may not have all of the items that we would cover on a final walkthrough. However, it's got most all of them. I would ask you to please verify the items. I will show you a sample of them, but every house is different. Every location is different. We try to do these often, but please don't take this as, oh, that's where it's supposed to be. So one of the first things I want to talk about is the incoming water shutoff. It will look something like this, and the water line comes in. It is a service from outside. There is a shutoff valve at your meter outside. There is also a shutoff valve right here. And that valve, when you turn it crossways from the pipe, it is off. Turn it back on, you have water service there. Most municipalities, we build in several different municipalities, so I would say this for most municipalities require a pressure reducer, and that's what this is. It comes factory preset. It is not something that Crabbe Homes adjusts. However, you can look it up online and they can show you how to adjust it. So your incoming water shutoff, pressure reducer, electrical system. You have your electrical box here, and it is one of the things that came out in the codes. A lot of people don't have these. These are arc fault breakers, and arc fault breakers basically check for sparks. So what I tell my clients is, if you move in, the current code says that arc fault breakers have to go in the living quarters, or basically the bedrooms. If there is some code talk out about changing that in the future, so be on the lookout for that. Right now, during the current code, we have to put them in the sleeping quarters, so that's why we have 3 here. What I tell my clients is, if you move in and every time you turn on your bedroom lamp, this breaker trips, get a new bedroom lamp. It means that you've got faulty wire in your bedroom lamp, and that's what these arc fault breakers check for, is any kind of spark, and it prevents fire. So it's pretty good option there. I do tell people, label your breakers before you get in and get settled and everybody plugs in their alarm clocks, and label it with stuff that you'll remember. Check for like hallway plugs. What breaker is that run off of? Things like that. Makes your life much easier later on. Along the same lines, the data, this is called a structured wiring panel. Some of our houses have it, some of them don't. It's a convenience, but it So structured wiring panel will either be in a closet or in this case out in the garage. Next item on the plumbing is your water heater. We will install a combination of gas or electric water heater. In this case, it's a 50-gallon electric. Pretty much every water heater that we put in, if it is electric, you're going to see a big cord coming in the top. It is a dual element, meaning you have a top element and a bottom element. Again, very much like that pressure reducer, this is not something that Crabbe Homes adjusts. We don't want the liability of turning up a water heater too high. So you have insulated water lines. You also have a shut-off valve here for your hot water side coming in. The last item that we usually cover in the garage is your garage door openers. And these little sensors at the bottom is probably one of our very most common warranty calls. And what happens is kids' bikes or golf clubs or something will knock that off of level. The eyes don't make contact then, and the garage door won't go down. So that is something that you certainly want to watch for. Nothing else in the garage, so we'll head inside. All right, so here we are in the master bedroom. A few things that I want to cover in here. It's pretty simple stuff, but make sure that everybody's aware of it. Crabbe Homes uses primarily single hung windows, and so easy to operate. You unlock them, and we use a few different manufacturers of windows, so this may not always be the case, but primarily all of the vinyl window and manufacturers now will do a tilt-in window. So yeah, you saw I raised this up. One of the key things why I raised this up, a lot of people will just pull these tabs and try to tilt the window in right away. It actually breaks this piece right here, and then that can allow water in. So always, if you're tilting your window in, always make sure to raise it up just a little. You pull these tabs and tilt it in from there. From this location, you can clean the window. This is also how you get the screens in and out. So you pull these tabs, pull the screen out. So pretty straightforward on that. It's not real difficult on the window operation, but when you're putting the window back in, I always do recommend pull the tabs in, make sure, and then press and make sure that the tabs are seated there. You close the window, lock it back. On the doors, Crabbe Homes does two things on our doors. Pretty much every house you will see a little lockout key above the doors. It's a great feature. Unless you've got young kids, then I would recommend that the parents pull those down. Not cool when kids can get in mom and dad's door. Another feature in this house, if you would, show the smoke detector here. The smoke detectors in these new homes are run off of batteries, or excuse me, they are run off of house power, but they are also backed up by batteries. Now, why that's important is because, and the other feature is, they're all interconnected. So I know as a homeowner, you look in this, it's got a beautiful vaulted ceiling and all, and most people are not going to get up there to change that battery, and that is a terrible thing because number one, it's a life safety issue. But as that smoke detector starts to chirp, telling you that it's a low battery, sometimes, because that smoke detector is connected to every other smoke detector in the house, the other smoke detectors can see that as a false signal, and it can set the system off, which will really scare you half to death. So please make sure you're changing the batteries in your smoke detector. Another feature is we go into the master bath here. This home does not have a jetted tub, but I always make sure to tell new parents with the jetted tubs, if their kids are going in to get into the tub, please make sure to fill the tub up above the jets the first time. My daughter, the first time she had a jetted tub, she turned the jets on. She was a few years old. She thought it was great, except that the water wasn't over the jets. It sprayed up, hit the wall, and scared her half to death, started screaming. So please make sure that you're supervising your kids in those tubs the first few times. Speaking of supervising your kids in the tubs, one of the things that Crabbe Homes does not do also, and I want to show this real quick, standard shower valves, these shower valves are equipped with scald-resistant shower valves. And what that is, see if I can do this without getting sprayed. So this shower valve comes around to about right there. That is a factory preset. It's not something that Crabbe Homes sets or our plumber sets. So turn that off there. you notice how it came around to here, but it didn't come all the way over to the hot setting. If that perfectly horizontal is the hot setting, what you don't want to do is we don't want kids to get into the shower and they flip it all the way over to the hot side and it scalds them. So to adjust a scald resistant shower valve, you're going to take a thumbnail or a small screwdriver and you're going to pull out this little cap out of the handle here. And behind this handle, there is a Phillips head screw. This whole handle comes off, and behind there's a little stopper, and it actually has an arrow on it. And most shower valves are made a very similar way. So be looking for that, and if you have any questions, ask your superintendent or whoever's doing the walkthrough just to make sure that you know how to adjust the shower valve. If you've got a different kind of shower valve, let us know. We can certainly get our plumber out there to explain it to you. One of the last features in here that I want to talk about is GFIs. Everybody knows in the bathroom, a GFI plug looks like this. And the way this works, you push the button, trip it, and yeah, now it's not working. So push the button to reset it. Now, why that's important is because in this house, like I talked about out in the garage, you have arc fault breakers that check for sparks. GFI breakers are called ground fault circuit interrupters. And what they do is they make sure that you don't get electrocuted when you've just gotten out of the shower and your hair's in a towel and you're running the blow dryer, and the blow dryer short circuits. It makes sure to set this or to trip that first before it hurts you because there's water present. So with that being said, there's 5 locations that your house is protected with GFI plugs, and that is your bathrooms, your kitchen, your outdoor plugs, your garage plugs, and your laundry plugs. Now, the kitchen has 2 circuits that's required by code, so there should be 2 GFIs in the kitchen and dining areas. The other thing about GFIs, just because the plug looks, in some locations that's a GFI and it looks like that, if it's in one of those 5 locations, it doesn't necessarily have to look like that. The electric code does allow us to piggyback, I use the term piggyback, off of the GFI plug. So in here, you've got a regular looking plug in the master bath, but that you can see the little sticker here that says GFCI protected, and that GFCI protected means that it is piggybacked off of the other GFI. So please be aware of that. I always tell the funny story that my wife was in the basement with her hair in a towel and slamming the breaker electrical panel door shut. And I said, well, did you trip the GFI? And she said, it's not on a GFI. And I was like, well, let's go look. And it was, but the GFI was in the other bathroom. So just because the plug looks normal, it's still off of a GFI in one of those 5 locations. All right, so here we are. We're currently in the breakfast nook of this house, and I wanted to talk about the exterior doors. Your exterior door locks, you have a lower lock and a deadbolt on this house. One of the things that Crabbe Homes does is that we use a builder's key system, which it's got an integrated set of pins in it to where we have one key that opens every house that we build until the homeowner puts their key in and turns it, and it drops a set of pins out and basically rekeys the house to the owner's key, and then we can no longer use our builder's key. Now, why this is important to you is, number one, it offers you a set of safety that nobody else has a key to your house, but you also, when you first move in, you need to lock and unlock each of the doors a couple of times just to make sure that the locks are functioning correctly. Moving in here to the kitchen, we have the most common warranty calls that we have. Garbage disposal, by far one of the most common, and it, unfortunately, most of the time it's a result of homeowner error. Kids will drop toys down the garbage disposal that gets clogged up, or just putting stuff down there that's not meant to be ground up. Our plumber has always said, if it doesn't go in your mouth, it doesn't go in the garbage disposal. So please watch that. On this one, sometimes we'll put an air switch on the top, and that makes it pretty easy. This one actually has the switch under the cabinets there. So just be watching for the care of the garbage disposal. They have some products out now that are really, really good as far as cleaning and taking care of it. I think most of those, you drop them in there once a month, grind it up, and it cleans it, gives it a better smell to it. One of the things I do want to talk about is your flooring in here. This house has a luxury vinyl tile in this breakfast area, and then carpet in the living room and a hardwood in the entryway. We actually have several other types of floors. The thing to remember with your floors is make sure you're using an approved cleaner. If you've got some exotic cleaner that your friend told you about and that it says it'll clean anything, be real careful of that. You could very easily. Looking at all of the things that can go wrong in a house, one of the things that new homeowner needs to make sure of is that your utility connections are correct. And by utility connections, I mean in the house. The refrigerator in this house has not been installed yet. But one of the things I want to point out is every Crabbe Homes has an ice maker connection behind the refrigerator. Now, where this is important to you as a homeowner, please make sure that that connection is not leaking. And here's what's important. Those connections, and also with your laundry room and the washing machine connection, you can have a pinhole leak in the thing when you first put it in there. Especially on new construction, you get a little bit of dirt or debris around that connection, a little bit of a grit of sand or something like that, and it can cause a little pinhole leak. So what you want to do is when you first hook that up, about a week later after you've been in the home, you're going to hook it up, you're going to turn the valve on, and you're going to say, yes, it's not leaking. Come back about a week later, feel under the connection, and if you have any moisture on your hand at all, you've got a leak and it needs to be addressed immediately. Moving on to the living room here, one of the very best things that I ever did in my new house was I had a hot spot in my house. I had a place where in our master closet, all the way in the back of the house, it just wouldn't get warm. And I kept thinking, man, this isn't right. And so I called my HVAC guy and he came out and he said, here it is, it's easy enough. And he flicks the fan to on. And he said, what happens is in some remote parts of these houses now with how big they are, the air doesn't get the full time to circulate. So we're not bringing, the air temperature is not equalizing across everything. A little bit of technical stuff that he was telling me that maybe I didn't quite get it all. But I thought, well, I'll take what he says. He says, hey, look, the air conditioner fan doesn't really use a whole lot of electricity, not much more than a ceiling fan. But what it does, and I didn't notice a single bit of difference on my electric bill, but I have the most consistent house. And it's just a very comfortable house. And it's very consistent because my air was constantly circulating. So I do recommend if you've got hot or cold spots in your house where you go, this just isn't right, you can test balancing it. All of our vents have flaps that you can open and close and try and balance the air. That gets pretty complicated. But most of our houses are structured to where you really shouldn't have to do that. If you run your fan in the on position, that doesn't affect your electric bill because what affects your electric bill is the compressor. And that's turned off and on by the temperature on your thermostat. So gives you something to think about there, make your house a little bit more comfortable. One of the byproducts when my wife and I did that in our house and turned the fan into the on position we weren't prepared for is the amount of dust that we captured in the filters. So your return air filter looks like this. Pretty straightforward. Pull this open, tilt it out, there's your filter. Depending on what type of filter, that filter when you first move in, we do recommend that you change that filter after a couple of weeks. Maybe the first 3 times you change it every 2 weeks because as you move your furniture in, it's going to kick up some dust. That filter is going to clog up a little quicker. Then as your house settles down and you've got good airflow and you're not seeing a whole lot of dust and dirt on that filter, you can put in whatever type of filter you want. I do recommend that whatever filter you use, you change it according to what they say because a dirty filter puts more strain on your air conditioning system than just about anything else. So that concludes our walkthrough. Certainly not an all-encompassing walkthrough, but gives you a general idea of what we try and do at our homeowner walkthrough. If you forget some of these things that I've told you, at least now you've got it on the internet to look at again. So if one of our clients is looking at this video, I do want to say thank you very much for buying one of our homes. And if those of you that look at this video and we haven't sold you a home yet, I hope to in the future. Thanks for your time.